Raise of hands, who enjoys sleep? You do. No, you put that down. You do. Quite a few of you, which is great because if you don't get enough, you can literally go crazy. That's why on this channel, we've tested products to help you track your sleep, to help calm your mind and your muscles before you go to sleep. And we've even done videos on pre-sleep routines. And all of those have helped. But there is one product that reigns supreme when it comes to giving you the best night of sleep of your life. And it is this. This is the Cube. And it's literally changed my life because it's changed how I sleep. And to understand how it works, we need to take a little travel back in time to the Stone Era, the era of Paleolithic man. At the end of a hard day of hunting and gathering, the sun would drop along with the temperature, signaling it was time to sleep. Light turning into dark, and the drop of temperature was also a biological marker of sleep. But fast forward to today, with our creature comforts of modern heating, when the sun drops, the temperature doesn't. We no longer have this signal to sleep, which has been hardwired into our DNA. We are only getting half of the sleep signal. What about cooling sheets and pillows? Well, they are more breathable than their non-cooling counterparts. However, there is an exchange rate of energy happening. So you've got your body heat and the sheet's ability to dissipate that heat. And if you sleep on the warmer side, let's say you're an athlete or maybe a woman in menopause, those cooling sheets simply can't keep up with that exchange rate. That's where the Cube comes in. So this is the Cube, and it works by taking this cap off and you fill it with water. That water is then passed through some ETCs. These are like fans. I don't know the technical name for it, but they're fans that cool the water down. This super cooled water then runs through tubing that connects here to the unit. That tubing is then fed through a special mattress pad. So when you lay on that pad, the super cooled water is passed through that, and that's what drops your temperature. Remember, that's the biological marker that says, hey, it's time for sleep. So the company that made this, ChiliSLEEP, this was originally called the Chili Pad. It's now called the Cube. They've got a weird, confusing naming history. That doesn't matter. Anyway, they didn't stop here. They upgraded this unit, and a few years ago, they came out with the Uller. This is the Uller, and it is a pretty big upgrade to the Cube. Why? Well, one, let's just quickly cover some of the cool features that it has. It now has touch button controls. This had like physical buttons that you touch. These are touch sensitive buttons, so they don't move. They're just sensitive to your touch. They both do the same amount of cooling and heating, meaning like they both reach the same temperatures. However, the Uller is much more powerful. It reaches that temperature far quicker, but it's also quieter. It also had Bluetooth and an app that allowed you to set a sleep schedule, multiple sleep schedules, which would control the temperature throughout the night, giving you the best sleep you've ever had. But they haven't stopped there, and I'm super excited to announce the introduction of the Dock Pro. This is the Dock Pro, and it's their most advanced sleep system yet. Let me give you a quick rundown of some of the cool features that it has. One, it is more powerful, far more powerful than the Uller, yet it is quieter. So it's going to reach that temperature that you want even faster. And I can tell you right now, it's substantially quicker. It now has Wi-Fi, so you can operate this anywhere. The app that it comes with is a massive improvement over the Uller app, and I have been using this for a little while now, and I love it. Speaking of which, I'm going to give you my top 5 reasons why I love it. But before we do, let's get into the setup process and how you can actually connect this and get it up and running. It's a big box. You can see Henry for comparison. Setting up the Dock Pro was pretty straightforward. My only complaints about the Dock Pro actually came from this setup process, but you should know that this is a pre-production unit and the software isn't final, it's beta. But basically, you take out the pad and fit it to the bed. The pad is what the water runs through. I like this pad so much more than the other pad, and we'll go over that later, but it's easier to install and much more comfortable. Make sure that the ports go at either the head or the feet depending on where you're going to have your Dock Pro. Then plug in the Dock Pro and fill the reservoirs. Make sure you do not remove the reservoir when putting in the cleaning solution or water, as it will just come out of the bottom. Okay, so I just made a huge mistake, but I'm glad you got to see that. Don't take that thing out and then pour that in there, because there's nothing to stop the liquid from going through. Download the app called SleepMe. Once on the app, tap the plus button to add your Dock Pro. It's a simple process of enabling Bluetooth, connecting it to Wi-Fi, we'll talk about that later, and then naming your device. And boom, you're done. Now that I've had time to use the Dock Pro, here are my top 5 favorite features. As I said, I am a nuclear reactor. I run so hot, and I'm assuming it's why for so many years that I just didn't sleep very well. Cool thing is all of ChiliSLEEP's devices reach 55 degrees, which is cold, and that's great because that's what I slept at. However, on the Uller and the Cube, I found myself being so hot, I ran so hot that I would regularly overpower those devices and they couldn't sustain that temperature the entire night. That is not the case with the Dock Pro. I actually have to raise the temperature by about 10 degrees compared to the Uller and the Cube. Because of those 4 ETCs, remember those are the cooling units, it reaches the same temperature, but it reaches it so much quicker and it can sustain it the entire night. So it actually ends up overpowering me, which is great. So yes, the Dock Pro actually hits the same temperature as the Uller and the Cube, but it does it so much more quickly. As an example, regularly with the Uller, I would have to start the cooling 45 minutes before I ever got into bed, because if I wanted to, have a comfortable bed, that's how long it took to get there. Not the case with the Dock Pro. It only takes a few minutes. And just so you know, it doesn't just cool the bed. For those rare occasions where maybe I'm sick and I'm experiencing the chills, or just I want to be a little warmer than normal, you can raise the temperature and get nice and comfy. The second reason that I think the Dock Pro is a worthwhile upgrade over the Cube or the Uller is the mattress cover, the thing you're actually sleeping on. And I would say there are 3 main reasons for this. The first of which is the actual fit. If we take a look at the Uller mattress pad, you can see that it uses these elasticy stirrup type things that stretch over the corners of your bed. Now this does work, but it doesn't give it the best fit. Whereas the Dock Pro mattress cover is like a giant fitted sheet, so it gives you a perfect fit. Now the second reason is the texture. I am one of those weird people that are extra texture sensitive, so I'm constantly touching things to see if I like it or not. Now there are 2 sides to the Uller mattress cover. There's a cool side, which is this meshy, scratchy surface. It's not bad, but I don't really care for it. The other side is much more softer and pleasing. However, it doesn't get nearly as cool, so I don't feel like I get the best of both worlds. That's not the case on the Dock Pro. It has got one side, it is very comfortable, very soft, and it's also the cool side. Speaking of which, the third reason for this is the actual cooling surface area. You see, on the Uller mattress pad, you've got long tubes that run through it lengthwise, and these tubes are separated by about 3 to 4 inches of space. That's a lot of surface area not being cooled. However, on the Dock Pro, it uses a grid system, little 1 inch by 1 inch square grids. This gives you 5 times the cooling surface area. Now, this isn't a big deal for me now, but for some of you, it could be a big deal. So much so that it might be a deal breaker.
and that is the loudness of the system. A few years ago, I was suffering from some concussion symptoms, and I was very sensitive to sound. Basically, any sound equaled pain. Now, the Dock Pro is supposed to be much quieter than the Cube or the Uller, so I thought it would be fun to set up an experiment to test the volume of each of those. I'd set up a mic about 3 feet away from the device. That's about how far your head would be from the device when you're sleeping. So let's go ahead and listen to them and to see which one you think is the most pleasing. I am a big fan that the Dock Pro is now using an external reservoir. That's the thing that holds the water. This means that cleaning is going to be so much more simple and easy, but it also has a removable air filter, whereas the Uller and the Cube do not. This is going to improve the longevity of the device and make maintenance so much easier. This is the Uller app, and the Uller app was really great because it introduced for the first time the ability to change the temperature on your phone. You didn't actually have to be next to the device and physically change it, which was great. So I could be downstairs. If I knew I was going to sleep, just turn the temperature up, turn it down, and it would change right here, which was awesome. But more importantly, it gave us the ability to set sleep schedules. So I could come into schedule. You can see I've already got some listed, but I could go through and create a sleep schedule. However, this app never really felt like it got out of beta. It always felt kind of clunky. There were quite a bit of problems with it. It wasn't very intuitive. However, that's not the case with the SleepMe app. So this is the new app for the Dock Pro, and it is so much more intuitive, easier to navigate, and the sleep scheduling system is much easier as well. Best part about this is that it now runs off Wi-Fi, so I don't even have to be in the house to operate it. So this app is killer. Speaking of which, I'm not sure if I'm supposed to tell you about this or not, but ChiliSLEEP has some pretty cool stuff coming down the pipeline. You're going to be able to get a detailed reading of all of the vital sleep metrics that you would want. So heart rate variability, resting heart rate, sleep efficiency, sleep latency, disturbances, etc. All of that will be coming to the app because of Dock Pro. Again, I'm not really sure if I was supposed to tell you that, but too late. And SleepMe, I'd rather ask for forgiveness than permission. Speaking of which, ChiliSLEEP, thank you so much for sponsoring this video. And maybe even more importantly, thank you for supporting me over the years. If you want the best night of sleep in your entire life, check out the Dock Pro or one of the many other great products by ChiliSLEEP, the links of which are down in the description. If you use those links, it will save you some money as well. Finally, do me a solid and smash that like button so that this video may be blessed by the holy YouTube algorithm. And if you're one of the new fresh faces that is watching one of my videos for the first time, welcome. Please consider subscribing. It's free, it's easy, and it makes you eligible to win one of the kick-ass giveaways we do on this channel. Well, thanks again for watching. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.